Hi, I want to talk about agents and particularly how they use tools, how they become specialized. So this is a typical layout for a fairly simple agent that has the user issuing some prompt to achieve some goal. The agent manages the interaction with the LLM, and it tells the LLM that it has tools, and the LLM can decide to run those tools and get the tool results back. But let's see, how this is going to be really implemented. So let's get back to the problem of in-context learning. So this is the idea that we're going to put data into the context window. And so we have the query from the user. This intermediary here, which is going to end up as an agent, is going to put the data into the context window and send it to the LLM. So we have to choose the data so that it can answer the query. So that's the trick, and that's why we have RAG systems. So I'm going to show you how a basic agent with a RAG system is structured. But let's take another look at how the agent works. So here now, the agent is responsible for this context window and passing it to the LLM. The data is coming from outside somewhere. We might query the web, or we might have our own RAG database that contains documents that we can retrieve. So the data may actually come from outside. So here I'm showing an SEC server that has an API and that we can extract data, for example, about company events. Perhaps Microsoft has developed a new product, etc. And we can pull that data in to our context window and get the results of the query. Now, the problem arises is that perhaps the SEC changes its API. Now, if we put an intermediary server, and we call these MCP servers Model Context Protocol, that it's just a standard that's been developed. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put a Model Context Protocol server, so this is a standardized server between our agent and the SEC. So if the SEC API changes, this server here, this MCP server, will adjust for that change, and the agent doesn't see any difference. It just talks to the MCP server. So we're going to see this in action for a RAG system. We're going to host the RAG system on OpenAI, so it's remote from the agent, but we're going to run our MCP RAG server here, and it means that the agent is going to still be able to talk to that data no matter if this API changes or not. So let's see how that's executed. Okay, so here I am in Codespaces, and this is VS Code, and so I'm talking to a container, and I've provisioned that container with my code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin up an MCP server there, and then I'm going to run an agent that talks to that MCP server, and that server is going to be talking to a RAG system that's hosted on OpenAI. So let's take a look first at that RAG system. So here I am on OpenAI. I just logged in to their API. I'm going to go to my dashboard, and I'm going to go down to storage, and I'm going to look at my vector databases. And we're going to be using this one, this RAG data. Let's take a quick look at it. So this RAG data here, if I scroll down, it shows some of the files that I've loaded up. And there's going to be some, here's one on Crew AI, here's another one on Data Studio, and I've got some on leadership, data leadership. And so there's quite a few files here. And what I need to do is I need to get this RAG data. So I'll be getting hold of this ID so that we can use it. So let's go back now to, so here I've got a file and I've got lots of servers I could load up, and I'll do that in a moment. But first we're just going to use this RAG server. So I'm going to remove the other ones. These are memory. This other one is, it's searching Brave. So I'll extract those and I'll save that. So I've just got one server I'll spin up first. So let me do that. So I'll just say Python, and this is a gateway server that's going to load up as many servers as I've got in that file, which is just one at the moment. So let's go take a look. So that server has started up on, we'll see it's port 8000 down here. If I look at the port, there's port 8000. It's public at the moment, so that's great. We need it to be public. Let me go back and get another terminal. And in this terminal, I'm just going to run the agent. So the agent now will make contact with that server. We'll construct a client. So I'm going to run agent.py. Let me just quickly show you. We're going to ask it, get the ID of the vector database named RAG data, and then what is the latest sports news for Boston? Let's ask it actually about the RAG system. So tell me about Crew AI. Okay, I happen to know there's a file in that. So let me save that and we'll run it now. So here it goes, get the ID of the vector database. It's got that. Now it's saying, tell me about Crew AI. So here we are. So Crew AI, stock market analysis tool, etc. So that worked fine. I'm going to kill that server. So you'll see, let me get rid of that 8000. Right, that port is gone. Now I'm going to put back into here all the other servers that I took out. That's better. Let's have a look. Just make sure it's, yep. Looks good. Yep. So I'm going to spin up now the gateway, and it should be reading all of those servers. So we'll look at the ports here and see how many. We've got one spun up on 8000, make it public. We've got 4 ports already. So those 4 servers are now spun up. I need to make them all public, but you can see how easy it is to get all these capabilities. So now my agent has got web search, it's got memory that it can store facts in, it's got stock sentiment analysis. So this is going to the SEC to get latest information on companies, and this is our RAG lookup. So MCP makes it really easy to give our agents, and we can develop lots of different agents, but we'll be spinning up these MCP servers so that we can provide tools to those agents. Okay, bye for now.